Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to do my February/March update in my Cultivate What Matters power sheets. If you have been around here for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, the power sheets are a goal-setting planner to help you figure out what matters to you and set goals around those important items that are important to you and whatever that means for you in your life. And back in October, I reviewed these from start to finish, and then in late December, early January, I shared what my 2019 goals are for the entire year, my big picture goals. And then I asked you, what did you want in terms of an update? Did you want something monthly? Did you want something quarterly? Did you want something just whenever I felt like it? And a lot of you requested a monthly update. So we did one last month and it was kind of long, longer than my typical videos, except for vlogs, but those don't count. So I'm hoping to keep this month a little bit shorter, but I want to do the same thing. I want to talk about all the goals that I set for February, how they went, what I achieved, what I didn't, what I learned, what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to change, and then the goals that I have set for March and my action items and the things that I'm going to do in March to make progress on my goals. Okay, so let's start with February. I put these little sticky notes so I would be able to find it. So here is my February tending list, and it's not quite done because it's not the end of the month when I'm filming this. And in the Facebook group, the Power Sheets Facebook group, which I'll link below if you want to join. You don't have to have the Power Sheets to join. It's very inspirational and very encouraging. But there's a lot of schools of thought on when you should do your tending list because, and I also think it's different for different people. Some people said like they need to stay focused on the current month until the very last possible second and then move on to the next month. Some people need a little bit more time to actually think about the next month. I think for me, what works best is doing it the weekend before the month starts. Because my week time is so busy and I get so much more done on the weekends, trying to carve out time during the week when the new month starts later that week is very difficult for me. So for me, I think it works better to schedule time the weekend before the new month starts, so the last weekend of the month, to set up the prior month. So it's the last weekend in February, and I went back, I reflected on February, even though we're not quite done, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm still gonna focus on finishing out my February tending list, and the plan is to always go post this on Instagram when it is done, like when it is complete. And that's the accountability that I have for finishing the February list, even though when I film the video, February isn't over. Let's talk about February. So my encouraging words were stress is an indication that you're not honoring a boundary somewhere, which I really liked. I think I really captured that. I think I tried to make sure that I was giving myself margin and giving myself space, and most importantly, forgiving myself when I took that margin and took that space. When I was in Chicago last weekend, my plan was on Monday before I left to do all these productive things before I flew home, and I just didn't. I took a couple of hours to relax and rejuvenate, and I totally needed that, and that was fine. And then my top priority was to be in the moment, and I think I did a good job of that. I really wanted to focus that more on when I was traveling, so when I went to LA with Sam's family, I did not vlog, and I tried to stay off of my phone as much as possible. And then when I was in Chicago, I tried to be in the moment and put my phone away, and I vlogged, I definitely vlogged, but then I also put my phone away in the moments that were really important, and when I wanted to connect with people and really, again, embrace that moment and not be worried about documenting every second of every day. I listened to a podcast. Well, I've talked about Amy Landino on this channel a lot. And on her podcast, she did a chat with her friend, her best friend. And they talked about how there's a balance between documenting memories and not being in the moment, and how we always think of there being these two extremes where I need to document every second of it so that I have it for posterity so I can go back and relive that moment. And then the other end of the spectrum, which is put all the electronics away and live in the moment. And she really thought, I think the in-between is probably the best, which I feel like isn't that life, right? We should never live on the extremes. It should always be somewhere in the middle. Take a moment, document it, take a selfie, take a picture, whatever it is, journal it for a second, whatever it is for you to document that moment, and then put the phone away and then be in the moment. And so that's what I tried to do in Chicago. I tried to embrace that, and I think I did a good job. All right, let's talk about the action steps, the one-time monthly tasks. So March tending list, check, I did that. Print out messages. I talked about this in last month's video, what this entailed. I haven't done it yet, but I'm hoping to get to it this weekend. PayPal deductions, I did that. Cancel cable, I did that. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Clean out my desk drawers, I did that. Clean out my bathroom buckets. Buckets is a weird word, but it's like these little cute cubby cube things that sit in shelves, and I wanted to clean those out. I did that. Birthday cards, I did that. February is really easy. There's not very many birthdays for me. March is a lot more difficult. Like all of Sam's immediate family is in March. Renew my passport, that was a big one for me, and I did that. I haven't gotten it back yet. I checked it off because I did my part. Like I filled out all the forms, I put it in the envelope, and I put it in the mail. I haven't gotten it back yet, but they did deposit my check that I put with it. So I'm assuming it's in progress. PlanwithLaken expenses, I haven't done that yet, but I'm hoping to get to that this weekend. All right, the weekly tasks. The first one is check and update power sheets, which I've done, been good at that. Stretch video. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this when I get to the March one. I don't know, I'm torn on it. I think I'm gonna try something a little bit different in March, and then I might just eliminate it altogether because I think I'm trying to force something. It's one of those shoulds and not necessarily because I want to. I was trying to think more when I was prepping for March what my why was behind that stretch, adding and stretching, and my goal was actually to make it a daily thing. I was starting with weekly, and then I was gonna do like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, and eventually work my way up to daily. And I was like, but why do you wanna stretch daily? And I will talk about one of my things for March, how I'm kind of twisting it a little bit. Money Mondays, I loved this. Although, I mean, I only did it twice, but I loved it. The 2 times I didn't do it was when I was traveling on the Monday, and so it didn't work, it didn't line up, but I'm going to do it in March, and I'm gonna keep up with that. And then 15 minutes of Facebook and Instagram purging, loved that. I finally feel like I'm getting to a place, I'm not done, but I finally feel like my Instagram feed makes me happy. I finally feel like everything that I'm scrolling through is something that I want to see, and I'm liking all of it because it's something that I actually want to see. I'm not just scrolling to catch up on it. Same thing with stories. And I talked about this in one of my weekly vlogs, but one of the other things that I'm doing besides my 15 minutes of purging for both Instagram and Facebook groups, which I'm still doing, if in the moment I come across something, whether it's an Instagram account or a Facebook group that I don't want to see in my feed, I leave it right then and there. I don't wait for my purging session. Again, it takes 4 seconds to do. And if in that moment it is making me think about something negative, or I'm like, why am I still following this person? Or why am I still in this stupid LuLaRoe Facebook group? Get rid of it. Okay, the habits were awesome for February. I'm just a habit person, I think. I just love habits. And I don't think the daily habit section is ever gonna be an issue for me. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely probably the best out of the, well, I mean, I did the monthly ones, but those are kind of easy. Okay, so my February habits were track 7.5 hours of sleep. I did a pretty good job of that. Reading nonfiction and reading pleasure. So I started in January with read for 30 minutes. While I liked incorporating reading into my daily routine, which is still one of my favorite things that I've done in 2019, I hated that I put 30 minutes. Like that was just stupid. And I was trying to read twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. I was trying to do fiction at night and nonfiction in the morning. So then I decided for February to track the 2 different types of reading. You'll see when we get to March what I changed it to. And then 15 ounces of water first thing in the morning. This has been awesome. Now the only thing about this one is 15 ounces was a little bit, it was really specific to being at home. I could only do it when I was at home and I had my home size cup, which was silly when I was traveling and then I didn't have that sized cup. You'll see when we get to March, although I'm not traveling at all in March, but I'm changing it to just morning water. But what I liked about it was before I did anything else, I just drank a whole cup of water. When I was traveling, I just did whatever cup I kind of had nearby that wasn't my full Yeti. Because again, I said this last month, but that was the problem is I kept thinking like I needed to drink that whole Yeti giant thing first thing in the morning. And like, yeah, I'm dehydrated, but I also like my stomach would hurt if I drank that much water that quickly. So I was shrinking it down. And so I did the same thing when I was traveling. In the hotel rooms, I took like the hotel cup, which was probably a lot smaller than 15 ounces, but I counted it anyway. I got my morning water in. So all in all, I felt good about February. I don't think I feel as good as I did about January, but again, I was traveling a lot. I got off my game in a lot of other ways in February that isn't really, like you can't see it on my power sheets. Like my workout regimen got all messed up and just some other things with traveling that got all screwed up in February. So I still feel really good about what I accomplished, and especially given the things that I put on here, but I sort of derailed my other habits. So for March, I'm hoping that I can kind of refocus and make sure that I'm doing all the things that are important to me, not just the things that I have decided to track here. So here is my March tending list. And again, I'll post this on Instagram so you can actually see it. The encouraging words that I have for March are progress is impossible without change. Just something simple. Last month, that quote, my friend gave me that idea to use that quote, and I just thought it was perfect, so I wrote it down. But my goal is for those encouraging words to somehow incorporate my word of the year, which is progress, to kind of keep me motivated. And then my top priority for March is me. It is my birthday month. March is gonna be all about me. I am not traveling. I am not doing anything for anybody else. Again, it's my birthday month. So I am going to take March to be selfish and make it all about me because I can. I was really inspired by Nina. You will see this in a future video. But her and I were chatting and she mentioned that one of her big overarching 2019 thing is being selfish and making it about her because she's getting married at the end of the year and her fiance are long distance right now. And this is really the last time in her life that it can be all about her. She can do whatever she wants, I mean, within reason, but she can make it all about her and she can be selfish. And so I'm going to do that at least for March. In the moment, I'm going to try and think, is this what I want to be doing? Now, that's not always gonna work because when I'm like doing the dishes, it's not what I want to be doing and I can't make Sam do all the chores for a month, as nice as that would be. But I am gonna try and focus a lot on myself in the month of March. About March in general, so when I talked about February, I was sort of realistic in February because I knew that I was gonna be traveling. It was a shorter month and it was just gonna be a lot. So I decided to be a little bit more realistic and cut back a little bit in February. You'll notice there's a lot on this March list. And that is because March is the opposite. I am not traveling anywhere in March. And there are 5 full weekends in the month of March. 5 full weekends, like 2 days for 5 weekends are March. And as someone who has a 9-to-5 job, I get a lot done on the weekends. Like that's when my productivity is at its peak. Knowing that I was going to have basically 10 full days to do whatever I wanted in March. Now, one of those days is gonna be like celebrating because it's my birthday. Well, my birthday's during the week, but I'm gonna celebrate on a Saturday for the majority of that Saturday. In February, I had 4 weekend days that I was not traveling, that I was at home to do things. In March, I have 10. So I could be a little bit more ambitious with the amount of things that I wanted to get done in March. So here are my monthly action items. The first one is birthday plans. So I want to finish finalizing my birthday plans. I don't know if I've mentioned this somewhere on the channel before. I feel like I've talked about it though. For this year, for my birthday, I don't want to throw a huge party. So every year since I've been an adult and I have lived on my own, I have thrown a party for my birthday. Sometimes we did it out at a wine bar, or sometimes it was not at my house, but it's always been, let me invite all of my friends from all the walks of life and let me have this big party. Then last year, I didn't really do anything because I was on a cruise with my family. So that was like my birthday present to myself, and I didn't throw a party because that's what I was doing. I didn't celebrate with anybody besides Sam. So I decided that this year, I want to spend my birthday with all of my friends separately. I want to celebrate in small groups instead of have one big party. So I'm planning on a happy hour with my work friends, a brunch with my sorority sisters that live here in New York, a really cool bar that we're gonna go to, I'm not gonna tell you yet because I wanna wait for the vlog, with my planner friends that live here in New York, and then something with Sam, like just something with me and just me and him. I think I'm gonna enjoy that so much better. So I wanna finalize those. I've started already kind of talking to the people and saying like, you know, here's the plans, here's the date that I'm looking at, but there's lots to coordinate, and so I'm trying to figure that all out. Originally, I was gonna try and squeeze it all in the same weekend, but I just don't think that will work. I don't think that's also a good idea for my mental health, but I'm excited to sort of spend some individual time. It's not one-on-one, it's small groups, but I still think I'll enjoy that better than one big massive party where I'm the host. Okay, the next one is April tending list. I'm putting that on every single month, is to do the next month's tending list. So for health things, I actually have 3, but they're all they're smaller things. So I wanna go get my blood work done. I've actually never had my blood tested for anything. I know some of you are gonna yell at me for that, but since I have become, again, an adult, I have just gone to my OBGYN for my annual checkup, and they don't automatically do blood tests. So that's just something that I feel like I need to do. Like, I just feel like I'm in a place where I should do that. I need to schedule an appointment with the oral surgeon. I'm getting my wisdom teeth out this year. When I went to the dentist, this is another thing, please don't yell at me. I hadn't been to the dentist in a couple of years since I moved to New York. And I went for the first time, was it 2 or 3 years ago? And he was like, all right, well, we have some work to do, but we're gonna be realistic about it because I'm not going to expect you to do it all in 1 year and pay for that all out of pocket. So basically what we're gonna do is max out insurance every year until we've done all the things that we need to do, and we'll just prioritize. And so we prioritized the cavities that needed to get filled. Well, for the first year it was, I needed like a deep gum cleaning, I forget what it's called. And then we prioritized cavities, and then the 2019 plan was getting my wisdom teeth out. So I need to schedule the appointment with the oral surgeon so I can get that started. And then the other health one is kind of interesting. So I take the workout classes at the gym at my office every day during lunch, and they're 12:15 to 12:45. And they're not easy, but they're not super difficult. Like, they're intense, and I do get a good workout, but they're not like, it's a lot of levels. Let's put it that way. But Wednesday and Friday, there is an advanced boot camp class that's at 1. And the instructor who teaches some of the other classes I take, she teaches that advanced boot camp class too. And she sort of hinted at like, you might be ready to try it. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready yet. And she was like, you can modify it if you need to. The biggest thing, the reason she considers it advanced is she doesn't want to have to explain moves. She just wants to be able to tell you to do something and you just do it. That's like what she says makes it more advanced rather than it being difficult. But I've watched it, some of it, and it looks hard. But I think I'm almost ready. So my March plan is to just at least go take her class, her 1 p.m. advanced class once. Do my taxes. I know that doesn't have to be done till February, but like, I'd like to just do it in March, get it over with. All right, the 2 relationship ones I have, they look similar, but they are actually very different. And it is to plan something for both Sam and my mom. I don't want to go into like super detail because I don't want them to find out, although neither of them really watch my videos. Sam likes and comments on the things on Instagram, but he doesn't really watch my YouTube videos. My mom definitely doesn't watch them. So they might not ever hear this, but I don't want to go into too detail because I don't want to spoil it. If they do hear that I'm working on something, oh well. But I am planning a gift for both of them for 2 different occasions and 2 very different things. I'm not actually going to finish it all in the month of March, but I want to put a plan in place to finish it by the date that it needs to be finished by. And then for our trip to India, I want to book the Dubai hotels. So we have our flights, and so that is good to go. And in Delhi, for the actual wedding, we'll be staying at the wedding hotel. For the days that we're there in advance of the wedding, we might still stay at the wedding hotel. We haven't decided that yet, but we always have that option to fall back on if we don't book a hotel or find a hotel that we want to also stay at for those few days and then move. But for Dubai, we need a hotel. And I know it's really far in advance for hotels. I understand that, but I want to start researching. And again, kind of like the flight, once I have the bones of the trip, then I feel like I can enjoy the planning process. And so I just feel like booking the hotel is just something that I want to check off my list. If you have any hotel recommendations for Dubai, please let me know. Okay, weekly action items. I kind of love how this turned out. I actually have one for every habit except the trip to India. There's nothing really weekly I can do. I mean, I could do to prep for the India trip, but again, I acknowledge that it's March and it's not till November. So, but every other goal, I have a weekly thing, which I'm kind of excited about. So the relationships one is I want to send snail mail. I think I was a little too ambitious and put talking on the phone as part of January. I don't like talking on the phone, so why am I trying to step that far out of my comfort zone that early? Let's start to work on these relationships without stepping that far out of the comfort zone. Snail mail is something I already do. I already send birthday cards. I send thank you cards, but these ones I want to send random. I just want to send cards. I want to pick one person each week to send a card to. The next one is about the stretching. Now, I talked about earlier in the video how I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And the biggest thing I'm gonna do is not try and do it at my house on the weekends. That is when I was doing them. And the truth is I was not warm, like my body was cold. And so it was not a good stretch. And I was doing it just to check it off. When the reality is I wanted to stretch because I want to work on my flexibility. Now I do a short stretch after every workout that I do, but what I want to do is pick one day a week, and it'll likely be a day that I don't have a meeting close to after I've done working out so I can stay in the gym a little bit longer. And I'm going to do a video at the gym at the office after I'm done with my normal workout. So my body will be warm. I will be actually working on my flexibility, which was the purpose of incorporating stretching to begin with. Okay, the home one is to declutter something in my kitchen. I'm literally looking at my kitchen right now as we're talking, and from the surface, it looks beautiful. I know that deep inside those cabinets, it is a disaster. My kitchen needs some help. And I think I've been neglecting my kitchen because I've been on Jenny Craig and I haven't been cooking as much, but the truth is I still open the cabinets to get things and it still stresses me out. So I'm attacking the kitchen, but rather than putting it as a monthly task, like clean the whole kitchen, I am doing it weekly, and I'm hoping over the course of those 5 weekends, I will be able to make my kitchen a place that I enjoy being. The money one is staying the same. I'm doing Money Mondays, and that is just where I am in the morning when I'm reading my nonfiction book. On Mondays, I'm gonna read a finance book rather than my normal nonfiction book that I'm working on. The Power Sheets one staying the same, is just checking in with my Power Sheets. And then the 15-minute social media purge, that one is staying the same too. And then the last new one on weekly action items is a productivity bootcamp. Now, I found out about this through Jordan Page, who I follow on YouTube and on Instagram, and I talked about her in my YouTubers that I love video that I recently posted. And she has both a budget bootcamp and a productivity bootcamp like class that she offers. And she's posted about it before, and I've considered it for a while, and I definitely struggle with trying to do too many knowledge-based things at one time. Like, I think that I need to read all the books and listen to all the podcasts and watch all the YouTube videos and do all the online courses all at the same time. And that's gonna make me a more intelligent, better version of myself. That's not necessarily true, but there is a lot of great content out there. And so I have been wanting to do this since mid-January is when I actually learned about it. And she was having a sale at the time. I'm pretty sure it was that long weekend, whatever the January one is. Martin Luther King weekend. I always get the two mixed up. And so I actually bought it then when it was on sale, but I knew I wasn't going to work on it until March. And it is a 6-week program. So I will be starting it in March, but it will bleed 1 week into April. Like the last session will be on the first weekend in April 5th or 6th or whatever that Sunday is. But for the most part, it's going to be in March, and it's weekly, and it's about 2 hours you're supposed to spend each week. So I'm actually going to go to the coffee shop near my house, which I love that place. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do it for 2 hours, probably on Sundays is my plan, for the month of March to complete this program. And not that I'm not a productive person, but I just think that learning from other people and the way that they're productive, now she has 6 kids. She has a totally different life than I do, but I know that I'm gonna be able to learn something from it. So I'm really excited, and I will definitely share with you whether or not I think it's worth it. If you wanna join me, I'll be sure to link it below. I'm starting on Sunday, March 3rd, is this Sunday? And that will be my first day. And then again, I'm gonna just do it every week on Sundays. They're not all 2 hours. The first one's definitely 2 hours because I already scheduled it, but I think the other ones are more like an hour, hour and a half. But I'm gonna allot 2 hours just so that if I need to pause and take notes, I can. To the habits, it's my favorite section. So a lot of these aren't totally changing, and then there's 2 big new ones. Like, I think that they're big. So the first one is the reading, and you will notice that I have switched it to read AM and read PM. We talked about this. January, I just put a number on it, and that was silly because that was not the goal. The goal wasn't to read for a set amount of time. And then in February, I put the qualifiers on it, nonfiction and fiction. Well, first off, it made me annoyed because I'm not reading fiction at night right now. I'm reading Michelle Obama's book, which is technically nonfiction, but it's not like a personal development nonfiction, so it's a good nighttime read, not a morning read. But the other thing that I thought about was the reading habit for me. While it is about absorbing the content and actually like learning from the books, it's really about the habit. It was really more about reading before I go to bed instead of watching TV, and reading first thing in the morning instead of scrolling through social media. And so because I put nonfiction and fiction, what I found myself doing was, oh, well, if I get up in the morning and I'm gonna work on this video instead of read my nonfiction book, but then if I read my nonfiction book on the subway, then I can still check it off. That was not the point. The point was to read the nonfiction book in the morning instead of doing something, technology or media or anything, first thing in the morning. So that's why I changed it to reading in the morning and reading at night. And if I do read in the middle of the day, great. It does not get a check. And then water, again, I'm keeping this on here as well, but this change that I already mentioned, I'm not putting an ounce related to it, although I am gonna be home all month, so I will be able to do the 15-ounce cups. All right, the next health one on here I'm really excited about, and that is doing the Yoga with Adriene journey that she did for January. So it's called Dedicate, and it is where you do yoga once a day, every day for 30 days. And she had it in January. So you started January 1st and you did it for 30 days. And I have 2 friends that actually did it who they've both done videos on it. So if you're interested, Kayla from Oh Hello Living and Jen from Pretty Neat Living, I just realized that both their brands have living in them. Why am I just now realizing that? But they both did it in January, where they did the Yoga with Adriene every day in the month of January. And Yoga with Adriene is just a YouTube channel. And she does have a membership option on a website if you want to do the paid membership. But I'm for now just going to do the YouTube channel. And I'm excited. And I originally was going to do it in the morning. But you know what? My mornings are already pretty stuffed. And I like my current morning routine. So I'm going to do it at night as sort of a wind down to the evening. So I went ahead and put in my calendar my nighttime routine. I've normally been starting at 9:30. I'm going to start it at 9. I'm going to do the yoga video and then start my nighttime routine. So that's my plan for the month of March. And again, I'm going to be home the whole time. I don't have any major plans besides the ones that I'm making. And if I have evening plans, so we have a gala one of the nights or when I'm celebrating my birthday, I'm just going to try and do it earlier in the day. Those are mostly weekends. I mean, and if I miss a day, I miss a day. But again, my goal is to do it at night to sort of wind down and relax. This is also how I'm fitting in stretching without it being an actual stretch video. And I think one of the reasons I'm going to eliminate stretch from the habits when we get to April, but again, we'll see when we get there. And then the last new daily habit is meditate. And I gave it the color of the appreciate being me, just because I feel like meditation is, while it is a health thing and I was going to give it the health color, I think it's just really more about being in a mindset, and that's just being yourself and being me. And so that's why I gave it that color. And I am going to use the app Headspace. I didn't write Headspace on there. I just wrote meditate, but I am going to use the app Headspace, and I am starting with 3 minutes, and I'm not committing to a length of time. I took the little starter quiz on it. I already downloaded the app, and it said like, we recommend you starting with 3 minutes. So I'm going to start with 3 minutes, and then I will work my way up. And I don't know if they're going to tell me when to work my way up, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna feel it out. I'm literally starting with 3 minutes a day, and then we will see. And we will see if I like it. I have tried meditating before, but I always tried it at night because I thought that was a good idea, and then I always ended up falling asleep. So I'm gonna try it in the morning, and I'm gonna do it in the morning. Again, because it's only 3 minutes, it's not really shaking up my morning routine all that much. If it does become something longer that I enjoy, then I will have to reevaluate my morning routine and see what might get cut or shrunk down a little bit from that morning routine, which is probably just gonna be working on my channel. The 45 minutes to an hour that I spend working on my channel now in the mornings will probably just get cut down a little bit, which is fine, because I think that meditating has a lot of value. I just never been able to get into it. So this is my attempt to do that, and I'm willing to potentially sacrifice other things to make that happen. That was a lot. And even though I said at the beginning, I hope this video is not as long as last month, I'm pretty sure it will be. I'm okay with that. I like talking about my goals. It's kind of thinking out loud. It's kind of therapeutic almost, where I'm sharing with you like why I did what I did, and it allows me to really think through it. But let me know in the comments, do you still like these monthly videos? Are they still helpful to you? Because if they're not, then I won't make them as much as I like to talk about my goals. I will do a quarterly check-in or just talk about them during my weekly vlogs when I do it, when I want to talk about them. And I will always continue to post them on Instagram, and I think that's the biggest accountability for me. And then also staying active in the Facebook group. I think that's a big accountability for me as well. And let me know what one of your goals for March is. What is one of the things that you want to work on, whether it's a habit or just a one-time thing? What is something that you want to accomplish in the month of March? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. And I also think it's different for... My watch is yelling at me, telling me that my move ring is usually further along for the day. Stop being lazy is what it's saying. I wish there was a calendar in here. Wish I had a calendar. My water is leaking at me. If you haven't watched the video about this gizmo that tells me to drink my water. Okay. Oh, I needed that. Thank you, water. Thank you, Ula.